Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Big Gold Bell movie review brought to you from the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, this is possibly the biggest film of this festival, one of the biggest films of the year. This one is Frankenstein. Here's a quick synopsis. A brilliant but egotistical scientist brings a mysterious creature to life in a daring experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and his tragic creation. This is directed by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Christopher Waltz. Now, this is one of the films that a lot of people have been anticipating for this year, especially when you heard that Guillermo was going to do a Frankenstein film, especially for someone who's done creature films in the past and has this visceral visual style that's going to bring people in. From the onset of the film, that's exactly what you get here. Stylistically, this film is amazing. It looks like paintings at times when you're watching this film. As you're watching Viktor create Frankenstein, we see him get the tools and get the supply and the support necessary, especially from Christopher Waltz's character at points of this film, to build up to get Frankenstein. And that's the whole point of this film, is that we need to see Viktor build Frankenstein. At the same time, the movie kind of plays in flashbacks here as we get to see Frankenstein chasing down Viktor from the onset and him attempting to, we perceive him kill Viktor. That's what he wants. And that's what we get to see. And the action in the first 10 minutes of this film is amazing. It's exactly what you want from a Frankenstein film. And then after that, we start getting the backstory as Viktor gets to tell his portion of the story first, and then Frankenstein gets to tell his portion of the story. It is very weird the way that that was chopped up, and that is possibly my biggest issue with this film, is that Guillermo, who is extremely talented and visceral and creating visual, stunning pieces of work, his stories aren't always the best. So whether you had the Pan's Labyrinth or the other film he did with Bradley Cooper, where Nightmare Alley, where the stories just didn't tend to blend well one another. Here with Frankenstein, when we get Viktor's portion of what happens, and while it definitely leaves holes in his story, and then we get Frankenstein's portion of what happens, it almost feels like Frankenstein's portion is unnecessary because it's just a creature learning that he should not be a creature and learning how to be more lifelike. And I think that is the problem with it. We know the whole point of the story is that Viktor is the actual monster. He creates something, but he's the monster for even creating it. And I think Oscar Isaac does a great job at showing an audience that Viktor is the monster here. Granted, his performance is very much over the top and multiple times in this film here. And that can also draw you away from the film versus we get a more loving version of Frankenstein in this film, a more handsome version of Frankenstein in this film. I have questions about some of the choices are made with Frankenstein in this film where it leads to Guillermo wanting the sympathy to be towards Frankenstein, which you fully understand that and you can grasp why that would be the case because that's kind of the way the book moves, the source material of Frankenstein moves, of you understanding that Frankenstein is just pining for someone to be with here. And while you do get that and while you do have a full understanding of that, it just does not work well in the plotting of this movie. When this movie is about 20 to 30 minutes, way too long. Absolutely too long here. It's so much convoluted backstory on both ends of their stories that it was unnecessary for the film to actually work, along with very melodramatic performances here. Like, that's another flaw in this film here. So beyond the pacing and the melodramatic score, you have Guillermo, who again does an amazing job at just showing you these visuals of the monster, showing you the visuals of the landscape, showing you exactly the things that Viktor had to do. Granted, when it gets into the melodramatic moments of both of their stories, and especially of Viktor's story, it just feels unnecessary. It feels like it's taking everything down the peg. And for a Frankenstein film that is made, that is not meant to be a horror movie, but more of a historical drama, as this one is, I think you have to still do a balancing act of putting enough horrific elements in it to make it more interesting. Here we do get Frankenstein become Frankenstein, but it's always in defense. It almost makes him a superhero. Like he's only doing this stuff to defend other people or to defend himself against unwarranted attacks, but he's not doing it out of just being a monster. And while that is, again, part of Frankenstein's story, it has to be executed in a way where it just doesn't feel like it's only done for dramatic effect. And that's the biggest issue with Frankenstein, is a lot of this is done for dramatic effect and not necessarily in the best ways. And part of it could be is that none of the performances are good in the film. They're serviceable at best, but none of them are good. As I said before, Oscar Isaac's performance is so over the top as Victor that it completely takes you away from the film. And then Jacob as Frankenstein is so monotone. Like it's no growth in the performance as much as we want to see growth in the character. And they portray a semi-growth in the character. The performance never grows. It's literally the same from beginning to end. And I think when you have a monster as complicated as Frankenstein, you have to have someone be able to understand how to show his emotional ups and downs and how that weaves itself into the story here. But here with Frankenstein, we don't get that. Instead, we get kind of a straightforward monster film with very super melodramatic moments that can completely take you out of this film. But in the end, I think most people are going to be here for Guillermo's directing style. And if that's all you're here for, you're getting that in spades here. But if you compare it to his past monster type films, whether it be the one with the creature in the water, right now I'm losing my mind. I cannot remember the name of it. But Pan's Labyrinth is the one I always remember. Those movies had such an innocence to it, such a Shape of Water, there we go. Innocence to it, along with their monsters having that same type of feel to it. And he had supporting performances that elevated the monster. Here, you don't get that in Frankenstein. And because you don't get that in Frankenstein, it kind of feels like a letdown while you're watching it. But Frankenstein, brought to you from the Toronto International Film Festival. This is a Netflix film. I'm not 100% sure when it releases on Netflix, but I think it's within a month or two it will be releasing on Netflix. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Frankenstein 7 out of 10. The style is still there. And if you're here for Guillermo's style, you're going to absolutely love this movie. But if you're here for performances, you're going to be let down. None of the performances rise anywhere near to the level to take this film to where the hopes that people thought this would reach that Shape of Water type of style. Instead, here we just get a film that is really good to look at. And that's about it. And if that's all you need for a Frankenstein movie to work, I think this is the perfect one for you. If you're looking for better performances, maybe someone else will do a Frankenstein film with those performances to be able to convey the full scope of what a Frankenstein movie can look like. But when it drops, check it out. Let us know what you think. This has been another Big Gold Bell movie review brought to you from the Toronto International Film Festival. Peace, people.